week. You know what that means. It is now time for our 10th annual Strictly Sports Football Feast. Hello, friends, and welcome to the 10th annual Strictly Sports Football Feast. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. Not much more to say on this. If you're new to this, it's very simple what we do. We preview the 3 Thanksgiving games in the NFL, and then from there, we will preview the college football slate for this upcoming week, which is Rivalry Week. So without any further ado, let's get started with the 3 Thanksgiving games in the NFL. Of course, before I get into that, 2 teams on bye this week for week number 12, and those 2 teams are the Arizona Cardinals and the Kansas City Chiefs. So they're the teams on bye this week. And with that being said, let's dive on in. Our first game will be at 12:30 over on Fox, and it will feature the Chicago Bears squaring off against the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. You know who's going to work this. It's Thanksgiving. You know who's working it. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi, and the series history includes the game that the Bears and the Lions already played this past season. They played back on October the 3rd, and it was the Chicago Bears who came away with the win. That was a 24-14 final. So there isn't much more to say there. So the series history with that Chicago win, it adds to Chicago's overwhelming series lead against the Lions to 103-75 with 5 ties. And they split last season. Both teams won on the road, but Chicago won at home 24-14. As far as what's happened in Detroit, the Bears have actually won each of the last 3 meetings in Detroit, including last year, 27-23. Lions haven't beaten the Bears at home since 2017. And I don't quite have a spread on this one yet, but or maybe hold on. I do have a spread. Chicago opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. So with that being said, let's dive on in. The Bears are going back to starting Andy Dalton after rookie first-rounder Justin Fields got knocked out with an injury to his ribs against the Ravens. The Lions may stick with Tim Boyle over Jared Goff, who missed last week at the Browns with an oblique injury. Detroit created some ugly games in Pittsburgh and Cleveland with a run-heavy, gritty defensive approach, but its last 2 home games against Cincinnati and Philadelphia were disasters. Chicago has good recent history in Ford Field, including 2 consecutive Thanksgiving game wins. The Bears are missing key defensive players, but still have plenty of offense in this matchup to support Dalton, led by running back David Montgomery and breakout wide receiver Darnell Mooney. The Lions will try to ride DeAndre Swift to victory in the backfield, but their lack of reliable downfield passing game hurts here. Whether it's Fields or Dalton, the Bears will break out of scoring in the teens and execute enough to delay the end of the Matt Nagy era. I have the Chicago Bears winning this game. My final score 27-17. The Chicago Bears knock off the Detroit Lions at Ford Field. So there isn't much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. 10th annual Strictly Sports Football started off with the Bears and the Lions at Ford Field.
Yeah, and nor traditionally, you never know how these games are going to go, especially when it comes to the Bears and the Lions. The Bears does dominate the overall series. I think we already know that. We know the Lions have been struggling this year, and they've had glimpses of good performances where maybe they could have beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers not too long ago. There was a couple of games where maybe they could have won. They could have won here and there, but it never transpired at the end. At the end of the day, it's what you gonna get. Now, there have been rumors going around that Matt Nagy will be fired after this game against the Lions, win or lose. Now, Matt Nagy has denied. Um, some people from the Bears organization has also denied this report, but this was first reported by Adam Schefter of ESPN. And not only did he corroborate it, but Ian Rappaport from the network, from NFL Network, also was reporting this as well. So there wasn't just one smoking gun; there was two smoking guns on this. Now, how's that going to look? How's that going to play out? We don't know. Andy Dalton definitely will get the start on Sunday because of the fact that, like you said, with the injuries that's been going on, I think the Bears should have enough offense and enough defense. When you got Khalil Mack playing, I think he'll be fine. And plus, the Lions, you never know. Now, I will say this: if Dante Smith or Swift, if he gets going, we might have ourselves an upset on our hands. If they can establish the running game early, if they can give them some decent performances, then we should be fine. So, was it? Oh, ACL. That's right, ACL injury. I'm sorry. I That's how much I know about the Chicago Bears this year. Absolutely nothing because they're garbage. Anyway, Bears should win this game. So, Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, things have been going very tough for the Bears and especially the Detroit Lions as well. So and you got Andy Dalton who's going to start this game here. So and yeah, with these Thanksgiving Day games, you never know what could possibly happen. But I mean, maybe the Lions could get their first win of the year on Thanksgiving, but I just don't see it happening. I just think the Bears will have enough offense to beat this team. So Bears win. So nothing more to say. Let's move on to our next Thanksgiving Day matchup.
It'll be at 4:30 over on CBS. It's our number 3 game of the week on our side of the ledger. The Las Vegas Raiders squaring off against the Dallas Cowboys from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, they'll be there. Dallas opening up as a touchdown favorite, a 7-point spread for Dallas. The series history is tied at 6-6, but Dallas has won each of the last 3 meetings against the Raiders, including the last 2 meetings in Dallas. That being 2013, 31-24, and 2009, 24-7. The Raiders have not won in Dallas since 1998, an ugly 13-12 win at the old Texas Stadium. So, not much more to say here. MF, Raiders, Cowboys, our number 3 game of the week. Raiders starting to, they're definitely struggling. Both teams are struggling, really. And something's got to give here. I mean, can Vegas steal one here, or do Dak and the Cowboys get back on track, even though Amari Cooper is going to be out again?
Yeah, Amari Cooper out. Second game in a row he'll be out, dealing with COVID. COVID-19 reared its ugly head and struck him. And what happened here was that and the one thing that we've been hearing is that he was not vaccinated. He was unvaccinated, Amari Cooper. So that's why he contracted the COVID, and that he's not out for 1 week. He's out for 2 weeks. He's out. He's got to serve the 14 days. So this was horrible timing for that to happen. There's a 3 games in 12 days that Dallas has to do, and there's a chance that Amari Cooper is out all 3 games. That's how bad it is. So the first game was against Kansas City. Dallas looked a shell of themselves. They did not look good. They did not play hot as well. Kansas City did all right. Now you're going up against a Raider team that you don't know if they got all their weapons. That's the one thing you're worried about with the Raiders. Carr's good. Josh Jacobs did all right. Darren Waller might have a good game. So there's a good chance that Dallas could get upsetted in Arlington over these gamed Raiders, but I just don't see it happening. I think because yes, you heard about Dak Prescott not playing great. You're hearing about Ezekiel Elliott that he might be injured, that he might not be at 100% going into this game. So this is, I hate to say this, but this is a trap game for Dallas. This sounds like a trap for me, but I think Dallas might be able to just get the job done, win this game. But I'm going to openly admit, I would not be shocked or stunned if Dallas loses to the Raiders on Thursday afternoon. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, you can definitely tell on Sunday that the how much the Amari Cooper is missed offensively by this Dallas Cowboys team. I mean, yeah, so I do expect them to bounce back here. I mean, against a Raiders team that, well, they're struggling too, and especially, well, not just with some what's struggling on the field, but let's not forget all the off the field issues as well. So I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, I think Dallas will win this one. I mean, the Raiders could give them some fits early, but I just think in the end they'll pull away from this one. So the Cowboys win. Florian, what's yours?
The Raiders are back to fading hard out of the AFC playoff picture. They can no longer run the ball and play adequate defense, which is putting a lot of pressure on Derek Carr in what's become a compressed passing game again. All those developments are bad for facing the Cowboys. Dallas had the Denver hiccup at home, but has otherwise rolled in Jerry World. The Cowboys offense will be without former Raiders wideout Amari Cooper, COVID-19, and likely also new top target CeeDee Lamb with a concussion. They were kept out of the end zone in Kansas City this past Sunday as both Dak Prescott and the running game struggled. Look for them to go back to basics with the backfield of Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, with more short to intermediate passing and still just enough receiving pop with Michael Gallup and Cedric Wilson. The Raiders can do some damage with Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow inside for Carr. But again, he'll be under siege and make critical mistakes as Dan Quinn's defense schemes to confuse him. Dallas wins. And I have the same score for all these games, by the way. 27-17, I'm going with Dallas to win that as well. And now we move on to the final game of Thanksgiving, the one that you better believe I'm going to have the most vested interest in. My Buffalo Bills squaring off against the New Orleans Saints from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, on NBC. Now, you would think it would be Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya. No, it's not. It's going to be Mike Tirico, Drew Brees, who will get more than a hero's welcome when he returns to the Superdome. Mike Tirico, Drew Brees, and probably Michelle Tafoya, you would have to imagine. Buffalo opening up as a 4-point favorite. New Orleans, however, leads the all-time series 7-4, and New Orleans has won each of the last 5 meetings in a row against the Buffalo Bills, including the last meeting in New Orleans, 2013. Saints won that one going away 35-17. The Bills have not beaten the Saints overall and in New Orleans since 1998, a 45-33 shootout win for Buffalo in that one. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, you lead off on our final NFL Thanksgiving game. Can my Buffalo Bills get back on track after they got absolutely buried against Indianapolis, in which it was the Jonathan Taylor show all day and all game long? But the Saints, are they going to be without Alvin Kamara again? And if that's the case, you got to like Buffalo's chances.
Yeah, I mean, if Alvin Kamara's out again, I mean, you gotta like their chances. But if he plays, I don't know. I mean, after what we saw on Sunday with the Bills, I mean, first off, Florio, what the heck happened to that number one defense that was ranked? I mean, Jonathan
That wasn't
Taylor
a number one
basically ran all over them.
That wasn't a number one defense. That they played more like a number 32 defense.
I mean, man, Jonathan Taylor just basically ran all over you guys. And if Alvin Kamara plays, I don't know. I smell a repeat here. So yeah, so to me the Bills really need this one, especially with the way they've been playing lately and with the way the Patriots have been playing lately. So man, oh man. So you know what? I'll just say this. I mean, if Alvin Kamara plays, I think the Bills could be on upset alert. But if he doesn't play, then I don't think you got anything to worry about. So I think the Bills will bounce back, but I think it's going to be closer than what everyone thinks, especially if Alvin Kamara plays. So nothing more to say. Bills win. Florio, it's yours.
I don't know what the hell that was on Sunday. I mean, the Jacksonville thing was one thing, but that, oh my Lord. I mean,
That was
oh,
UGLY. You got no alibi. Ugly.
I got you. But I'm gonna make a couple of indemnits to my score predictions for the Thanksgiving games. I got Chicago winning 23. I still have Chicago winning 23-13 is my score on that, and Dallas beats Vegas 31-22. And as for this one, well, I mean, the Bills have lost their way offensively as the big plays downfield have been taken away from Josh Allen, or as I call him, JA-17, and they struggle to support him with a traditional running game. Allen needs to rely more on his own athleticism to make plays, taking a cue from what Jalen Hurts did against the Saints defense. Throwing a lot more to Stephon Diggs and Dawson Knox on short to intermediate routes is also a smart, patient game plan. The Saints are uncertain to have Alvin Kamara with a knee back on a short week after he missed the last two games. The Bills' run defense should be motivated. No, they will be motivated to show the Jonathan Taylor debacle at home was a fluke. Trevor Siemian should see plenty of pressure and won't see much open available with his limited receiver and tight end committee. And the Saints are on a 3-game losing streak of their own. And Trevor Siemian, he's only completing 57.3% of his passes in that losing streak. The Bills have averaged 3 turnovers, lost a game the last 3 weeks. And if they don't clean that up, this could be a close one as well. But I'm going to trust Josh Allen to right the ship in a tough game on the road. Buffalo is 2-3 against the spread when favored by single digits, so this could be real close. But I'll throw the 27-17 score, but that's only if Kamara does not play. If he does, 27-24. But either way, I got the Buffalo Bills winning what will, without a doubt, be a must-win game. So we need this one because we got to keep pace with New England now. I mean, we had everything coming up roses at the first month or so into the season. Everything was looking rosy for Buffalo. I mean, we had Miami down. We had the Jets down. We had New England down. It looked like we were going to run away with this division. It was going to be ours to lose. But they ended up getting lazy and complacent. What else is there to say? So, and when you get lazy and complacent, well, that opens the door for your opponents to get back in the race. And New England not only got back in the race, they now lead the damn thing. And am I happy about that? Hell no, I am not happy about that. Because this was supposed to be our year, man. It really, really was. I had such high hopes this year. A lot of the experts had us going to the Super Bowl. I thought we had a great chance to get there after the magical year we had this past season in 2020. You know, a season I waited an eternity for. And I am really hoping that I will get to add to my division championship shirt collection here. The one that I started last year. So I'm hoping to add another one to it. But for that to happen, they need to wake up. They need to get back to basics. And most of all, don't get lazy and don't get complacent and don't ever look past your opponents. Don't. So I got a good feeling on Thanksgiving. I usually get big performances out of my fantasy players on Thanksgiving. I've got JA-17 as my quarterback, and I believe he will have a bounce-back game, especially in the Dome. I like his chances. So wake up, guys. That's all we got to do. Wake up. We can't let New England add to that league. We can't. I don't want that to happen. So let's prove those experts wrong. So without Kamara, 27-17, Buffalo wins. With Kamara, 27-24. But either way, I got Buffalo winning. So there isn't much more to say. MF, we had a behind-the-scenes chat the other night after our Survivor Series recap, and we talked about it. God forbid if Buffalo loses this game, it's panic button time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I said going in, I think everybody felt the same way. I think everybody was thinking that, this is Buffalo's time, that they're gonna really turn it up and everything else. And you know what? I hate to say it, but Buffalo's turned out to be a bunch of frauds. They're not as good as we thought they were. They're not as elite. They're not the upper echelon. They're not a main event mafia team. They're basically a bunch of frauds. They are basically, there's a lot of teams we could say who are a bunch of frauds right now. Baltimore Ravens. I can say in Tennessee Titans without Derrick Henry. They've proven to be frauds right now. So there's no clear-cut team that's really dominated in the NFL right now. And I hate to say this, the two most consistent teams right now are the Indianapolis Colts and the New England Patriots. And they are the most consistent right now. In the NFC, Arizona. Even without Kyler Murray, they're still kicking butt out there. But let's get back to the job at hand. Buffalo lost their identity. They lost what brought them to the dance. Maybe it is complacency. Maybe they were thinking, we're going to have an easy time. We should steamroll it. Our schedule is pretty good. We should steamroll through the bat. When we're up against the good teams, all right, we struggle. But with the bad teams, we should easily roll through them. I honestly believe Buffalo lost their identity because of the Miami Dolphins. That second game in Buffalo, I think they lost their identity because Miami showed a little bit of a blueprint of how to handle Buffalo. And that is, if you can contain the running game and try to limit Josh Allen to mistakes, that they are right for the picking. Jacksonville exposed Buffalo, and then Indianapolis took the intel that they got from Miami, took the intel that they got from Jacksonville, came up with a brilliant game plan, and thrashed the Bills in Buffalo. Thrashed them. No ifs, ands, or buts. They got thrashed. Now the Bills are limping. They're hurting. They are a shell of the team that they were back in September. And Anthony, you're absolutely right. They were the best team in the AFC. They were the most dangerous team that nobody wanted it to see. That aura is gone. There's no more fear about Buffalo. There isn't that fear of the circling of the wagons. They kick a couple of those tires from that wagon, and if that wagon goes down, bye. That's all I say. So the thing is that if Alvin Kamara does not play, that does hurt New Orleans. That's a major cog in the wagon that they need, because you need Trevor Siemian to have a better game. And I think Siemian needs a running attack. He needs a running attack to alleviate some of the pressure. because you can dink and dunk and go for short intermediate passes. That's fine. But if you don't have a running game and you're one-dimensional, that's a recipe for disaster. And Buffalo will exploit you on that any day of the week. You know, you need a balanced attack. That's how you beat Buffalo. So the teams that has done it was the Titans, was Indy. Why did Indy do it? Because they had a consistency of a running attack and a passing attack, where the running attack was the forefront, and then you just needed Carson Wentz just to dunk. They didn't need to do much. That's what Trevor Siemian needs. He needs Alvin Kamara to play. Unfortunately, Kamara did not practice on Monday. He did not practice today. He is now, if he does not practice tomorrow, he's officially out. He will not play. And rumors are swirling, he might not go. So Buffalo might have no Alvin Kamara to deal with. If that's the case, Buffalo should win this one pretty handily. So nothing more to say, Anthony. Like you said, this is a must win. You can't lose and fall further behind in the AFC East, because not only do you have New England on top, all of a sudden the Miami Dolphins, yeah, they're still a ways away. But if you keep losing and Miami keeps winning, all of a sudden you got Miami start creeping up. And if they start creeping, woo-wee, second spot might get a little toasty for the Buffalo Bills.
I don't even want to think about that. But I just may have to. I may have to. And, you know, as not to be confused with the pitcher of from the World Series champion Atlanta Braves, Ian Anderson. I'm talking about another Ian Anderson. You know, Buffalo had everything going like a purring kitten, man. But as the great poet and philosopher Jethro Tull once said, "He who made kittens put snakes in the grass," and that's all it's been for snakes in this lately. And hopefully, on Turkey Day, we will celebrate Turkey Day the ravishing way, if you know what I mean. So, I can only pray for it. That's all there is to it. So, as far as the rest of the NFL slate goes, we will get into that on a slate in general. We got a lot of great to look forward to. Just to name a few, the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Cincinnati Bengals, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Indianapolis Colts, a sleeper matchup with the Carolina Panthers and the Miami Dolphins, of course, the Tony and Mikey game of the week, the Tennessee Titans and the New England Patriots, the LA Chargers against the Denver Broncos, big West Division game there. Fox's America's game of the week, the LA Rams and the Green Bay Packers. Minnesota Vikings and the San Francisco 49ers, sleeper game on the other side. And Sunday Night Football, the Cleveland Browns against the Baltimore Ravens. So we'll get into all the games, but those are the ones we're going to be most excited about come Saturday night. So check that out. But for right now, gentlemen, it's now time to get into the real bread and butter of this, the college football slate. And you know what that means, gentlemen? Rivalry week. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Here we go. Rivalry week features 2 top 10 showdowns with college football playoff implications in the Big 10 and the Big 12. Number 2, Ohio State meets now number 5, Michigan in the game at noon in a battle of 10-1 teams looking to win the Big 10 East. It's yet another chance for the Wolverines to break a losing streak, guys. The prime showdown features number 10, Oklahoma at number 7, Oklahoma State. The Sooners and Cowboys might have a rematch in the but stakes matchup. And there's also the Egg Bowl, the Iron Bowl, and everything that makes this week special. These are the games that have a 365-day shelf life. So there isn't much more to say, gentlemen. Let's dive right on in. And oh, by the way, the college football playoff rankings already came out. And you know that's how we're going to be rolling. So with that said, we start the college football portion of Football Feast with a game that you will see on Thanksgiving night, the Egg Bowl, the Battle of Mississippi, the number 9 Ole Miss Rebels take it squaring off against the Mississippi State Bulldogs from Davis Wade Stadium at Scott Field in Starkville, Mississippi. This game will be over on ESPN. And on the call for that one, it'll be Joe Tessitore with Greg McElroy and Katie George. And Mississippi State opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. The Egg Bowl should be a thriller between two exciting offenses. Ole Miss is 0-2 against the spread as an underdog this season, but the Rebels are playing for a potential New Year's Day 6th berth. But what wrinkles will the respective coaches Lane Kiffin of Ole Miss and Mike Leach of Mississippi State put in for this one? I'm going with Ole Miss to win this game. My final score, 31-29. I got Ole Miss winning the Egg Bowl and continuing their magical season. So not much more to say. MF, Ole Miss now in the top 10 of the new playoff rankings that came out earlier tonight. But they got to go. They got to take on their most hated rival, Mississippi State, in the Egg Bowl as we kick off the college football portion of Football Feast.
Yeah, absolutely. And normally whenever it's a rivalry game, this is the one, like you said, that if you win it, you get the bragging rights for one full year. If you lose this game, man, you feel it's the worst feeling in the world more than anything else. However, I do believe Ole Miss will win this one as well. I do agree with you, Florio. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I got to go with Ole Miss as well. I mean, yeah, Ole Miss needs a lot of things to go their way. I mean, well, to me, I think they'll definitely make a New Year's Six if they win. But if they lose this one, oof, who knows where they'll go from here? But yeah, I got the Ole Miss Rebels winning this one. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on to the next game, Florio.
Will do. And we're going to move on now to the first of 6 Friday games on our slate. All 6 of these games will go down on Friday. And the first game will be the first half of a CBS Friday doubleheader. This first game will be starting at high noon on CBS. The number 21 San Diego State Aztecs at home at Dignity Health Sports Park, formerly the StubHub Center in Carson City, California. And they're going to be hosting the Broncos of Boise State. Oh. And on the call for that one, it'll be Rich Waltz, Aaron Taylor, and Cherie Burris. And Boise opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. So, MF, it looks like San Diego State might be on upset alert here.
Absolutely. You definitely have to think that they could be on upset alert. Boise State, you know the history with Boise State. They've been known to pull off an upset or two. Doesn't matter if you're a little minnow or a big fish. Talk to Oklahoma about them. They still remember to this day that infamous upset at the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale. And trust me, Dee Woodson, she probably would want to, she always threatens the checkered apron on me every time I bring up about the Fiesta Bowl. So yeah. So we know. Boise is definitely always a team that you got to watch out for. But I think San Diego State will finally get the job done. They've been battle tested. They've gone up against some of the best, some of the top teams this year, and they came out of it all right with no harm, no foul. Boise had a big game, which I think was against BYU, and BYU smashed them. Like, literally took them out bad. So, could it happen again? I don't know. I think it's going to be tight. It's going to be close. But I think San Diego State just has enough firepower and enough weapons that I think they'll get the job done. So, give me San Diego State to beat Boise State. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I got San Diego State winning this one as well. I mean, basically, I just think they got enough offense to hold up, but I would not be surprised if Boise State pulls off the upset because, like you said, they've had a history with creating upsets. So I don't see it happening, but Boise State will definitely give San Diego State some fits. So San Diego State wins. Florida, what's yours?
The unranked Broncos are a road favorite, perhaps based on a 4-game win streak and road victories at Fresno State and BYU this season. The Aztecs need this one too, especially with the loss to the Bulldogs. But I disagree with you guys. I think the Broncos are going to play spoiler in a low-scoring game. I'm calling for the upset. Give me Boise State to pull it off, 24-21. So with that being said, let's move on to the next matchup. This will be a 1:30 kickoff over on the Big Ten Network. The now number 16 Iowa Hawkeyes on the road against the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Tom Osborne Field at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. This one will be over on the Big Ten Network with the A team over there, Brandon Gaudin, James Laurinaitis, and Rick Pizzo. And Iowa opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. So, Michael Bullock, Iowa and Nebraska. Who you got?
Yeah, I got Iowa winning this one. I mean, yes, they are on the road against Nebraska, but yeah. I mean, Nebraska will definitely hang tough in the beginning, but in the end, I just think Iowa's just too good here. So give me the Hawkeyes to win. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, it's going to be Iowa. I agree. This is a chance to build, and the Huskers have a chance to build some momentum under Scott Frost for 2022. Nebraska has 5 one-score losses against ranked teams this season, and Iowa has won the last 6 meetings. Expect another close game where a late turnover could make the difference. I'm going with Iowa to win this game as well. Close game, 27-24. Iowa steals one in Lincoln, Nebraska. MF, are we going to make it unanimous? MF, are you there? I don't know if MF stepped out for a moment, but we'll just move on to our we'll just move on to the next game as soon as MF comes back in. The second half of the CBS doubleheader. This will be a 3:30 kickoff on CBS. The now number 25 Arkansas Razorbacks at home at Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and they will be hosting the Missouri Tigers. And on the call for this one will be Iron Eagle's son, Noah Eagle, along with Rick Neuheisel, Aaron Murray, and our old friend Jenny Dell. And Arkansas opening up as a 14.5-point favorite. Wow. But nonetheless, Arkansas played Alabama tough, and there is a small risk for an emotional letdown against Missouri, which is coming off a program-building victory against Florida. The Tigers have won the last 5 meetings, and the last 2 in Fayetteville have been close. However, I'm going with Arkansas to knock off Missouri. My final score, 35-24. I got Arkansas getting back on track after that tough loss to Bama, in which they gave Bama major fits. I couldn't believe what I was watching when I was watching that game last Saturday. I couldn't believe what I saw. But nonetheless, I think Arkansas will bounce back from that, especially at home. 35-24, Arkansas knocks off Missouri. MF, if you're back in, just need your thoughts on Iowa and Nebraska and the Arkansas-Missouri matchups. I guess MF's still not ready yet. So, Michael Bullock, come on in. Missouri at number 25, Arkansas. Second half of a CBS doubleheader.
Yeah, Arkansas. I mean, they look good, but I mean enough for them to get into the top 25, and yeah, I think they should be able to handle their business against Missouri. So give me Arkansas to win this one. So I don't know if Fletch is back yet, but
There he
yeah,
is.
he's back.
Okay. MF, just two quick games here. Number 16 Iowa at Nebraska, and the game we just covered, number 25 Arkansas at home against Missouri.
Yeah, well, first off, Nebraska ain't winning that game against Iowa. That's a foregone conclusion. I'm not even gonna even attempt on that. And as far as Arkansas goes, man, I feel bad for Arkansas, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they had such a promising season, and then they ran into the two juggernauts. They ran into Georgia and they got smashed. They ran into Alabama.
But they
hung with Alabama for most of the game. I got to give credit where credit's due.
Into the fourth.
They hung with Bama, and then basically fell apart at the end. Bama became Bama, and that's how that ended there. So at the end of the day, yeah, I think Arkansas will get a nice win to close their campaign, and there's really nothing more to add. So Florio, it's yours.
All right, I think we're all caught up here. So so with that, we're gonna move on now to our next Friday game, and now and this is the most interesting. Finally, in the top 4 where they should have been all along ever since these rankings started. They're now number 4, guys. The Cincinnati Bearcats. They're going to be on the road against the East Carolina Pirates at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. And this will be a 3:30 game over on ABC. And on that call, it will be Jason Benetti, Andre Ware, and Paul Carcaterra. And Cincinnati opening up as 2 touchdown favorites in this one. So just bear with me for just 1 second. I just need to do a quick double check here. I believe MF starts this one off. So, all right, MF, Cincinnati. We've been wanting them in the top 4, maybe much to the chagrin of the committee, but who cares? Because when those rankings came out tonight, look who's finally in the top 4, and it's about damn time.
It's about time. We've been begging it. We've been pleading. We've been yelling. We've been screaming. But they finally gave it to Cincinnati. Why? Because of what they did to SMU. The SMU game gave the committee they had no other choice but to do what they did. Oregon had fallen. They fell out of the top 4, and that gave Cincinnati what they needed to get through. Now, more than ever before, Cincinnati has to dominate their remaining games. They need to prove to the committee that they are the most deserving of the Final 4 to get in. That means they need everything to go their way. And how do they do that? Simple. You need to dominate and blow out. And I mean it. You got to blow out East Carolina. You got to do it. You got to blow them out. You got to destroy them. You got to embarrass them.
And then the conference championship.
Huh?
And then and then after that, they'll be playing the conference championship game, most likely against Houston, and that's going to be their biggest test right there.
And again, they got to dominate that game too. From now on, it's all about what you can do. Handle your business, and you're playing for the national championship. That's literally what it is. You win the next 2 games, and you win them in convincing fashion, where the committee will have no choice but to put you in the Final 4. You're playing in the playoff, the CFP. You break down the glass ceiling, and the first of the non-Power 5 gets into the big dance. That's all you need to do. I think they will do it. They're motivated now more than ever before. They're motivated now because They finally got through. And now, without a shadow of a doubt, you cannot falter. No losses, no screw ups, no mistakes. Handle your business, and you're going to play in the college football playoff. You're going to be in that semifinal, possibly against Georgia. That's going to be a hard game to play, but you need to handle your business. Get it done. Cincinnati wins. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, thank goodness that Cincinnati is finally in the top four in the college football playoff. I mean, where they should have been all along. And yeah, I mean, but now they basically need to do their job, and they need to win out and basically dominate some of them for the remainder of these final games if they're going to get into the playoffs. So I got Cincinnati winning this one. So yeah, nothing more to say. Florio, let's move on.
Well, we got to get to my thoughts. And tonight, the Bearcats slid into the top four in the latest college football playoff rankings, but they do remain on the hook for style points. The East Carolina Pirates are 4-1 at home, and that loss was a 2017 nail biter against South Carolina. They will be in full spoiler mode, but the Bearcats look to be on the next level, especially after what they did to SMU. 37-17, Cincinnati all over East Carolina. So not much more to say there. Next Friday game, a 4 o'clock Fox. A nice little appetite for Friday Night SmackDown. The now number 19 Utes back at home at Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City, the scene of the crime against Oregon. And they're going to be hosting the Buffaloes of Colorado. And on the call for that one, it will be Joe Davis and Brock Heward. And Utah opening up as a 23.5-point favorite. And rightfully so, Michael Bullock. I mean, did you see what Utah did to Oregon last Saturday night on a primetime stage, the ABC Saturday night game of the week? Wow.
Wow, I don't think anybody saw that coming with what they did against Oregon. And I'm sure Eric Carey is probably like, do you guys really have to talk about it after that putrid performance? But man, I mean, Utah certainly made a name for themselves, and yeah, so and I do expect this to continue for them. So I got the Utes winning this one handily. So Florio, it's yours.
Oh yeah. Colorado has 4 Pac-12 road losses by an average of 23 points a game. Utah clinched its spot in the Pac-12 championship game at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas a week from Friday. But we all agree that they're going to keep on rolling, especially at Rice-Eccles. So easy win for Utah. They'll follow it up. 35-10, Utah all over Colorado. MF, I mean, all the momentum right now is with Utah, especially after that domination of Oregon.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Utah definitely caught a lot of people. Well, I think a lot of people knew that Utah was good. I didn't think they were going to be that good. They absolutely they kicked the doors off on the Ducks, man. There's nothing you can say about that. So, no, it's all set. It's all good. Utah should win it. Like you said, this should be pretty easy for them. Anthony, next game.
All right. And we move on to our final Friday game. It'll be a Friday night game, 7 o'clock on ESPN, the Battle of North Carolina. The number 20, North Carolina State Wolfpack at home at Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina. And they're going to be hosting the North Carolina Tar Heels. This will be over on ESPN with Matt Berry, Roddy Jones, and Tiffany Blackman. And NC State is opening up as a 6-point favorite. The Tar Heels have been inconsistent this season, but they have a chance to sweep the other Triangle schools in what could be Sam Howell's final game. NC State has lost the last 2 meetings in blowout fashion, but in all honesty, I think NC State will break that. I think NC State will get the win here. I'm going with NC State. It's going to be a close, high-scoring game. 34-30, I got NC State finally getting over the hump and beating Carolina at home. So not much more to say. MF, the Battle of North Carolina.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with UNC. I think UNC definitely has got, they've had a pretty good year. There's been a couple of bad games that didn't go their way. And I do believe they'll get the job done. So, yeah, give me North Carolina. I'm going to go UNC. And Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I got North Carolina winning this one as well. So, yeah, you guys pretty much touched on everything on it. So, I think it's time to get to the Saturday slate of the games, including one that me and Fletch are really going to have a lot of vested interest in, if you know what I mean.
Well, there's one game we have to address before that, Bullock. It's the first, as we move on to the Saturday slate, we've got 5 high noon games to start, and we have to start with the number 1 team in all the land, the Maine and Georgia Bulldogs, on the road against their in-state rivals, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Bobby Dodd Stadium, historic Grant Field. High noon kickoff. This will be over on ABC. And on that call, it'll be Bob Wischusen, MF's boy, Dan Orlovsky, and Chris Budden. And Georgia opening up as a 5-touchdown favorite, 35-point spread for the Maiden Georgia Bulldogs. MF, Georgia's Georgia. They're the best team out there. You've said it time and time again. But Georgia Tech is coming off a 55-0 beatdown to Notre Dame in South Bend, and now they got Georgia coming in. Oh, no.
It's going to be just as bad, maybe even worse. I mean, yeah. Look, that was, like I said, Georgia is without it. They're on a mission. They're literally on a mission. They want the national championship. They're basically are penciled in right now to be playing for at least the college football playoff. They're in no matter what. There's no other major threat for them. They're just it's just a window dress right now. I don't think all their starters are going to be playing the full game. You know why? Because they're looking at Alabama the week after the SEC championship game in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. That's the national championship game right there, folks. So they're going to have an easy time with Georgia Tech, but then the week after, it's them and Alabama. Game of the century. SEC title on the line. Game on at that point. So they'll win this one. I just hope that they rest their starters enough so that they'll be prepared for Bama. That's all I'm saying. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, it's going to be the Maine and Georgia Bulldogs all day long. So, yeah, it's only going to get worse for Georgia Tech. So, nothing more to say. Flory, what's yours?
Oh, yeah. And I should know. Did you see what my team did to them? Woo-hoo-hoo. Statement. That's all I'm going to say. But anywho, the Bulldogs are heavy favorites, and there should be little doubt who wins this rivalry matchup. Georgia, however, is 2-3 against the spread when favored by 20 or more points. Georgia Tech is stuck in a 5-game losing streak and coming off a 55-0 loss to Notre Dame. The Bulldogs have won the last 3 meetings by an average of 36.7 points, about 37 points a game. When will they pull up? I don't know. 44-7, lock of the week, made in Georgia. All over the all over the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. All right, Bullock, now it's time. It's time, folks. It is time. This is it. The game of the week, and you can definitely consider this the game of the year right here. The Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines taking center stage. Ohio State coming off a thrashing of the Michigan State Spartans at home, a game in which quarterback C.J. Stroud increased his stock in the Heisman Trophy conversation. Michigan has not beaten the Buckeyes in the Jim Harbaugh era, and it is winless in the series since 2011. So let's address that elephant in the room. But nonetheless, here we go. The game of the week, the game of the year, right now. The now number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes on the road against the now number 5 Michigan Wolverines, Michigan Stadium, the Big House, Ann Arbor, Michigan. This is on Fox, big noon Saturday. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, the All-American girl, Jenny Taft. Bad news, fellas. Ohio State opening up as an 8.5-point favorite. So there isn't much more to say. Michael Bullock, you get the honors. You lead off on the main event of Rivalry Week. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 5, Michigan. What else is there to say?
I mean, this is a game that we all look forward to. I mean, it doesn't matter whether these teams are ranked or not. It's always big whenever you got Michigan and Ohio State. But now, I mean, a lot is on the line with this one. For Michigan State, for somehow to be in there, into the college football playoff, they got to try to pull this one off. I mean, it's not going to be easy against a very impressive Ohio State team after what they did to Michigan State. So, I think the things they got to do here, they got to make Ohio State play their game. I'll tell you this. If this game is close going into the fourth quarter, Michigan has a chance. They might have a chance to pull it off. And remember what I told you guys in that Sunday night matchup with Tampa Bay and New England. I said if New England can keep it close going into the fourth quarter, they have a chance. And they almost pulled it off. That's what Michigan's got to do. They got to keep it close for 3 quarters because they may have a chance at it. So, man, this is tough, but I mean, it is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's in the home of Michigan, but Ohio State's dominated the series for a while now. I just don't see it happen. I just don't see it. Michigan pulling it out here, so I gotta go with the Buckeyes here. But I would not be surprised if Michigan pulls off the upset. So, Floria, what's yours?
Ohio State lit up one of the FBS's worst passing defenses this past Saturday to put itself in prime position, and they earned the number 2 seed in the college football playoff as the rankings came out earlier tonight. C.J. Stroud threw for 432 and 6 touchdowns in the win over Michigan State to put off at the front of the Heisman conversation. If the Buckeyes can also beat Michigan in convincing fashion, the freshman quarterback could be lifting a trophy in New York City on Saturday night, December 11th. Michigan has a much better passing defense than Michigan State, but it has still been susceptible to some high yardage concessions. The Wolverines gave up 332 total yards to the Penn State Nittany Lions in a game in which Penn State's 2 top receivers made 13 catches for 153 yards. Michigan outgained Michigan State in its loss to the Spartans, but that game was lost because Kenneth Walker ran all over the Wolverines. Ohio State has a running back in Trevion Henderson who could wreak the same havoc as Walker did on October 30th. Ohio State averages over 11 points and 112 yards a game more than Michigan, and it has playmakers at every major position, including a triple threat at wide receiver in Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Michigan will not be as overmatched as Michigan State was against the Buckeyes, but it will be hard for it to keep pace if Ohio State's offense continues to score at a high rate. The Wolverines need a perfect defensive performance to at least stay within the 8.5-point spread. But that may not be possible with the way Ohio State is moving the ball on offense. The Buckeyes have dominated the game in the last 2 decades. Will Michigan finally author a response? It's going to be a challenge against that wide-open Ohio State offense that put on a clinic against Michigan this week. Emotions will be high, and the Wolverines are due. But can they keep up with that offensive machine? We'll see. I think it will be close. 3 quarters, maybe even into the 4th quarter. But ultimately, I think Ohio State, I think it's going to be like the Arkansas and Alabama game. Michigan's going to hang with them. But I think they'll, just like Bama did, they pulled away late in the game and sealed it. I think Ohio State will do the same thing. 38-26. I'm sorry, guys. I have to go with Ohio State. It's a classic case of I'll believe it when I see it. But don't get me wrong. I'm rooting for you guys. I want to see Michigan win. I would love to see Michigan get that signature win. Get a win that, this if they pull this off, it would be their biggest win since the 97 team won the share of the national championship in Nebraska. So it's been that long. I want it for you guys. I want to see it for you guys, just like with MF and the Braves, in the World Series. But until I see them actually do it, I'll believe it when I see it. But for right now, I have to go with Ohio State. But I want Michigan to win this game. That's all I'm saying. So professionally, I have to go with Ohio State 38-20. But personally, I want Michigan to win. So, but not as much as this guy. Good old MF, Michael Fletcher. The biggest Michigan, probably the biggest Ohio State Michigan since they were 1-2, 2006. The game of the century here. It has a game of the century type feel. Ohio State's in the top 4. Michigan is literally on that Mendoza line. They're right there.
Yep.
If Ohio State wins, obviously it remains status quo. But this is a question I've been asking you a lot, and you've been on top of it, and I know you'll be on top of it once again.
Yeah.
What if Michigan does the unthinkable and finally beats Ohio State for the first time in 10 years, in which this game is the main event? Nope. There is no other. This is what the words main event were meant for. Brother, it don't get no bigger.
It doesn't. And to be point blank, if Ohio State wins, they're going to the college football playoff. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They will get in. They will be one of the top 4. That would solidify their spot. All they would need to do at that point is just win the Big Ten championship, and they're home free. For Michigan, if they knock out Ohio State is out. Michigan makes top 4, and then all they need to do is win the Big Ten championship, and they're gone, and they're going in to play for the national championship. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is without a doubt the biggest game that Michigan has had in a long time. This is without a doubt the biggest game. And the thing is that, yes, there's no doubt about it. Ohio State has all the skilled players from quarterback to running back to a 3-headed monster on the wide receivers. There's no doubt about it. Michigan's defense is going to get tested hard. And that's going to be a major test for them. how is Michigan going to respond? And that's the one question that we're going to get. Is Cade McNamara, this is your moment, Cade. This is what you came to Michigan for, to be in this position. You know, you've had some big games. You single-handedly helped us beat Penn State at Happy Valley. You were the reason why we won that game. He needs another heroic performance. One more time. And this one would be the biggest of them all. He wins that game. He becomes a Michigan legend forever. He will become just like some of the other great names, like a Harbaugh, like a Brady, like Tim Batuka, that carved up Ohio State one year on the way to the Heisman. So it is absolutely going to be one of those games that can define his legacy. It's a legacy game. No doubt about it. So, obviously, the professionalism in myself will say Ohio State wins. And I got to do this as an analyst. So, as an analyst, Ohio State wins the game. But to beat Ohio State, to stop that high-power offense, Jim Harbaugh has always preached about running the football, tempo, and controlling the clock. If Ohio State plays the Michigan game, if Michigan makes them play their style of game, and that is where they're forced to use that they're going to have to be more quicker with tempo, that they got to be more quicker throwing the ball, everything else. If Michigan can slow the game down and not let the three-headed monster get going, let the running attack not get going, making C.J. Stroud kind of pedestrian, and then if Michigan can utilize their running attack, Cade McNamara doing small to intermediate passes where the defense is forced to bring you up, then bomb one for the goal of the home run ball. If they do that, Michigan pulls the upset. They get to the Final Four, and for the first time in a long time, we can say, as far as Michigan fans go, we beat Ohio State. That's the key, and that's how you knock off the Buckeyes. Many has tried, many has failed. This is the only way that you beat Ohio State. You don't, because when you play their style, it turns into a track meet. We can't do that. We don't have the horses. We don't have the weapons. We're not going to be able to go into a track meet with Ohio State. If it goes high scoring, I don't like our chances. We're going to have to slow the game down. We're going to have to turn this into somewhat of a defensive battle. Our defense is better than theirs. We know that. We can get to the quarterback. If they can do it, if they can hold that offense to a minimum, Michigan has a puncher's chance of pulling off the upset. That's the best way to say it. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. Not much more to say. That's already been said. So let's move on now. Let's see. Where are we? All right. The now number 8 Bears at home against the Red Raiders of Texas Tech at McLean Stadium in Waco, Texas. This over on FS1. And let me find it here. On the call for that one will be Dan Hellie and Robert Smith, and Baylor opening up as a 2-touchdown favorite. So I'll start it off here. Baylor is still shooting for a Big 12 championship berth, and the Bears can clinch a 10-win season with a victory against the Red Raiders. Texas Tech is 2-2 on the road, and the teams have split the last 4 meetings. All of those have been decided by 14 points or less. Baylor wins, I'm going to say 30-20. Baylor knocks off Texas Tech, keeps their slim Big 12 title hopes alive. So Not much more to say. MF, your thoughts?
Agreed. Baylor wins. Really nothing more to add. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, Baylor wins, so there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on.
All right. And next up, it will be, I think let's see, how many have we done here? Yeah, we just did 4. Okay. So next up, the number 18 Wake Forest Demon Deacons against the Boston College Eagles at Alumni Stadium in Chestnut. This will be over on ESPN2. And on that call, it'll be on ESPN2 and the ACC network, a special simulcast. And the ACC network's A team will be on the call for that one. Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck, and Kelsey Riggs. And Wake Forest opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. So, MF, Wake Forest, you called that Clemson was gonna, and they did. Can Wake Forest bounce back in Chestnut Hill against BC?
I think they will. Boston College, not really a great team. They've been pretty rough this year more than anything else. So no, at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Wake Forest to turn it around. Look, the 2 games that I did call the upsets on, I got them both. I told you that I thought they were gonna lose to North Carolina, I believe, was it, Anthony?
I think it was.
It was North Carolina. They got them and they got caught. I told you they were gonna lose to Clemson, and they did. So no, I think Wake will turn it around. Boston College is not really a great team, so I do believe that Wake should win it. So Bullock is yours.
Yeah, I think Wake Forest will bounce back in this one here. So, yeah, Boston College is going to have a very tough time with them. So, Wake Forest wins. It's yours for you.
Yeah, Wake Forest is coming off a reality check loss to Clemson, and now they need to win at Boston College to clinch the ACC Atlantic Division. The Eagles have clinched bowl eligibility, but they do have home losses to NC State and Florida State. The Demon Deacons have more to play for here, and that translates in the second half. Wake Forest wins. My final score, 34-24. I got the Demon Deeks bouncing back. So we have one more high noon game, and it will feature the now number 24 Houston Cougars on the road against the UConn Huskies at Pratt and Whitney Stadium at Rentschler Field in Storrs, Connecticut. And I believe this game will be over on it'll be on the CBS Sports Network. Jason Knapp, Ross Tucker, and a favorite of myself and Michael Bullock, Tina Savasio. She'll be there for that one as well. And Houston opening up as a 32-point favorite. Bullock, I think you'll make this short and sweet, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. It's Houston all day, so it's yours.
Yeah. UConn has lost its last 3 games by 30 points or more, and Houston is capable of pouring it on. It's still a game we'd prefer to stay away from, knowing the Cougars are 4-4 against the spread as a favorite. And the line is high, but we think Houston will gear up for the American Athletic Conference Championship game against Cincinnati in style. Houston all day, 44-10. Houston all over UConn, MF. MF, are you there? All right. We'll just move on. Next up, we have a 2:00 kickoff. This will be over on ESPN Plus. The number 22 University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners. Yes, sir. Meep. Yes, sir. And they're going to be on the road at Apogee Stadium to take on North Texas. That is the Mean Green of North Texas. And this one will be over on ESPN Plus. And I don't know who's going to be working that one. Well, it's going to be on ESPN Plus. That we know. So, oh, there it is. I got it. Kyle Humans and Heckma Harrison. And UTSA opening up as a 10.5-point favorite. So UTSA kept its dream season alive in dramatic fashion against UAB, and now the Roadrunners face a Mean Green team that needs a win to become bowl eligible. UTSA leads Conference USA with a run defense that allows 101.7 yards a game. The Roadrunners will pull away in the second half. UTSA makes Coyotes out of North Texas, 38-21. The Roadrunners all over the Mean Green. So, MF, if you're back in, we have Houston and UConn and UTSA against North Texas. I think we all know where your allegiances lie there. Well, I guess not. All right. We'll wait for MF to come back. He obviously had to step away again for a moment. So, Michael Bullock, come on in. UTSA against North Texas. UTSA a 10.5-point favorite.
Oh, yeah. I got UTSA winning this one as well. So, let's move on, Florio.
And we move on to the 3:30 slate. And believe it or not, there's only 3 games, but they're all big ones. Next up, the Iron Bowl. The number 3 Alabama Crimson Tide on the road against the Auburn Tigers. Jordan Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. The SEC on CBS. And, of course, we know who's going to be working this one as always. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jamie Erdahl. Alabama opening up as a 19.5-point favorite. I don't know if MF is back in yet. If he is, we'll start it with him for the Iron Bowl. Oh, there he is. All right. MF, you missed a couple of games, but they're quick ones. Number 24, Houston against UConn, and UTSA, the Roadrunners against North Texas.
Yeah, which is UTSA, and I also got not UConn. What?
Houston.
Houston wins. Roadrunners. Me. They'll be doing that.
Yes. So, Iron Bowl time, baby. Who you got?
Iron Bowl, Alabama. Bama all the way. I don't think it's going to be much of an argument here for me. Bama wins. And, yeah, really nothing more to add. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, it's Alabama all day long on this one. So, it's yours, Florio.
Yeah. The Crimson Tide are huge favorites in the Iron Bowl. The Tigers are on a 3-game losing streak. It's on TJ Finley to keep Auburn within striking distance. Alabama hasn't had a blowout win at Jordan Hare Stadium since 2011. That's a lot of points in this game, but I'm afraid it's going to be next victim here. Bama wins 38-20. So not much more to say there. Next up, it's the Civil War. The number 11 Oregon Ducks back at home at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, and they will be hosting the Beavers of Oregon State. And this will be over on ESPN with Dave Patch, Dusty Dvoracek, and Tom Luganbill. Oregon opening up as a touchdown favorite, 7 points. Michael Bullock, can Oregon bounce back after that humiliating loss to Utah last week?
Yeah, I think Oregon can definitely bounce back. I mean, because you know that they're probably fuming after that performance last week. So I got Oregon winning. So Florio, it is yours.
Oh yeah, it's going to be Oregon. Oregon State is for the Pac-12 North Championship, and it's a game the Beavers actually won last season. Oregon State won 41-38 last season, but the Ducks have won the last 6 meetings in Eugene. That streak continues. 34-24, Oregon gets back on track. They knock off Oregon State. They'll get another shot at Utah in the Pac-12 championship game at Allegiant Stadium. So not much more to say. MF, Oregon, they've won 6 in a row at home against Oregon State in the Civil War. Do I hear 7?
Yeah, they're going to get 7. Oregon's pissed. Oregon's mad. Oregon knows they let one get away. They know they got embarrassed, and they're gonna want another shot at the Utes. They're gonna want another shot at Utah and get a second shot at them. So to do that, they gotta win the Civil War. They'll win the Civil War, and then they're gonna have you want to see an angry duck, man. They're gonna be furious when they get their hands on Utah. at Allegiant for the for the Pac-12 title. So nothing more to say on that one.
Yep. And we now move on to our final 3:30 game. And it's another biggie. It's the number 12 Michigan State Spartans back at home at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, and they will be hosting the Nittany Lions of Penn State. ABC will have this one, and on the call for that one will be Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, and Molly McGrath. And Penn State actually opening up as a 1-point favorite. I guess we can understand after what happened last week, but Michigan State received its reality check in a 56-7 loss to Ohio State, and Penn State is trying to avoid a 5 loss this season. James Franklin is 3-4 against the Spartans, but Penn State has won the last 2 meetings, and the Nittany Lions also have a tough run defense. But I just got this feeling about Michigan State. I think Michigan State's going to bounce back, but if Penn State were to win this, I would not at all be surprised if Penn State stole it. But I think Michigan State will bounce back. I think they need it more, so close game. I could go with that 1-point outcome. I'll say 24-23. I'll say Michigan State barely gets by Penn State. So not much more to say. MF, can Michigan State bounce back after they got hit by Ohio?
Yeah, I know. And not only that, but the last time I think Penn State played at home, wasn't that against Michigan, where they got their hearts broken?
I believe it was.
It was. So something's got to give. So I mean, yeah, there's a number of factors that this can go, but like I'm with you. I think Sparty will turn it around and get a big win. So Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got Michigan State winning this one as well. I see them bouncing back in this one, so nothing more to say. Let's move on.
All right, and we have 7 games left, guys. 7 games left. We're almost there. So 4 o'clock kickoff over on Fox, staying in the Big Ten. The number 14 Wisconsin Badgers on the road at Huntington Bank Stadium against the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Yep, I'm not surprised Bullock left. Obviously, work commitments. So hopefully we'll get him back tomorrow night. So MF and I will take you the rest of the way. 7 games left. Number 14, Wisconsin Badgers on the road against the Minnesota Golden Gophers at Huntington Bank Stadium in Minnesota. And it's a 4 o'clock kickoff, and this one will be over on Fox, and it'll be Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman on the call. And Wisconsin opening up as a 7-point favorite, a touchdown favorite. So MF, Wisconsin controls their own destiny when it comes to the western side of the Big Ten. They beat Minnesota, and I believe they will be heading to the Big Ten championship against either Ohio State or Michigan.
Yes, that would actually be the outcome. If they do win the game, yeah, they go through. So I think Wisconsin will. I think they'll win the game. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add here. I think Wisconsin will win it, and yeah, nothing more to add. So Anthony, it's yours.
The Badgers can clinch the Big Ten West Division Championship with a win against the Gophers, who are 2-4 against the spread at home and have been inconsistent this season. Wisconsin has not lost in Minneapolis since 2003, and that streak continues. 121, Wisconsin punches their ticket to the Big Ten championship game. So not much more to say there. Now we move on to the primetime slate of games. 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN. The number 15 Texas A&M Aggies on the road at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge against the LSU Tigers. This will be over on ESPN, and on the call for that one, it'll be Tom Hart with Jordan Rogers and Cole Kubelik. And the spread favors Texas A&M. Texas A&M favored by 6.5 in this one. So Texas A&M can finish off a 9-win season, but they will have to do it on the road at Death Valley. The Aggies have not won in Rouge since joining the SEC, and this is LSU coach Ed Orgeron's send-off game. It's going to be tight, but I do think Texas A&M will pick up the win here. I think they'll steal it in LSU. 27-24, Texas A&M gets by LSU. So MF, Texas A&M, and LSU. MF, are you there? All right. I'll keep the action going for the moment. We'll wait for MF to come back in, and we'll get his thoughts on A&M and LSU. But in the meantime, next up, 7:30. We got 3 7:30 games. And next up, okay, we got MF in. All right, MF number 15, Texas A&M and LSU.
A&M.
All right, fair enough. Now we move on to the 7:30 slate of games. We got 3 of them, but we start off with the number 2 game of the week, Bedlam. The number 7. Yes, oh yeah, we love Bedlam.
Oh yes.
The number 7, Oklahoma State Cowboys at home at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma, squaring off against the number 10, Oklahoma Sooners, the ABC Saturday night game of the week. And yes, they're going to be there for this one. Our boys, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, and Holly Rowe, and Oklahoma State is opening up as a 4-point favorite. So MF, just like with Ohio State and Michigan, major Big 12 and maybe college football playoff implications, but I think more Big 12.
More Big 12 than anything else. College football, maybe for Oklahoma, but they would need a lot of help. They're going to need almost them to pull an inside straight. You would need Alabama to lose somewhere along the way. You would need literally need Michigan and Ohio State to lose. So one would be basically what would happen is Ohio State or Michigan would have to lose the Big 10 championship game, and then the loser, because honestly, and I'll be real honest with you, the loser of Michigan versus Ohio State is out. But for Oklahoma, you would also need the winner of that game to lose the Big 10 championship. You would actually need Wisconsin, if they make it, you would need Wisconsin to knock out Michigan or Ohio State to win the Big 10. That would help. Cincinnati would need to lose along the way, and Bama would have to lose to Georgia in the SEC championship game. That's a lot to ask for. And then on top of that, maybe you also need Notre Dame to lose somewhere along the way. So, I mean, that's a tall order, but I think Oklahoma will win. They'll win Bedlam. After that, let the chips fall where they may. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. Oklahoma State's defense is one of the best units in the FBS. The Cowboys held 3 of their past 4 opponents under 10 points. They come into Bedlam off a shutout of the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Mike Gundy's team can beat Oklahoma in Bedlam with its strong defensive play, and that would increase the team's playoff hopes. Oklahoma State needs the Alabama Crimson Tide to lose and for the Cincinnati Bearcats to stumble in one of their final 2 games to feel comfortable about their playoff spot. If Cincinnati wins out, the Cowboys will be fighting for the number 4 seed with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, whose only loss occurred at home to the Bearcats. Oklahoma State will give up a few points to Oklahoma, but if it contains the Sooners like it has every other team in the Big 12, it should cover comfortably at home. The Sooners' defense allows over 9 points a game more and has not held an opponent under 20 points since a 16-13 win over the West Virginia Mountaineers on September 25th. Lincoln Riley's team boasts a talented offense, but Caleb Williams and company were slowed down by the Baylor Bears' impressive defense in Week 11. Baylor held Williams to 142 passing yards and restricted the Sooners to 260 total yards. The Bears laid out a game plan that showed how the Sooners can be stopped. If Oklahoma State follows that plan and forces Williams into more uncomfortable situations in the pocket, it could create a few turnovers and gain a stronghold in the game. So, the Sooners have won Bedlam the last 6 seasons, but the Cowboys' friend. Oklahoma game, and OU quarterback Williams has struggled to start. So, you know what? going to take the chance here. I'm going with Oklahoma State to pull it out. I think Oklahoma State can do it. 31-27. I got Oklahoma State winning Bedlam. But if Oklahoma were to steal it, I would not at all be surprised. I wouldn't. So, not much there. Next 7:30 game, we got 4 left. But the 7:30 window, we have the number 17 Pittsburgh Panthers on the road against the Syracuse Orange. That will, of course, be in the Carrier Dome, the legendary Carrier Dome in Syracuse. This game will be over on the ACC network with John Schriffen, Renee Angalia, and Taylor Davis. Pittsburgh opening up as a 13-point favorite. Pitt-Syracuse games have an uncanny knack for going off the rails. Pitt has won 5 of the last 6 meetings, and 4 of the last 6 games have been decided by 7 points or less. The Orange have suffered back-to-back blowout losses, and the Panthers put an exclamation point on their ACC Coastal Championship run. 38-24, Pittsburgh wins at the Carrier Dome. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh as well. I think they're just too good right now. And, it's going to be a more interesting game. It's always a rivalry game, so it could make things a little more interesting. But I think Pittsburgh should win this game. So, Anthony, nothing more to say.
All right, 3 games left. And next up, the final 7:30 game, and it'll feature the number 23 Clemson Tigers on the road against the South Carolina Gamecocks at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. The game will be over on the network with Taylor Zarzar, Matt Stinchcomb, and Clemson opening up as an 11.5-point favorite. MF, Clemson in South Carolina.
Yeah, no, this is safe to say that this should be Clemson. Look, I think they really earned that spot. They got the big win last week when they knocked off Wake, and I think that really opened up the door for Clemson. So I think Clemson is going to win this one. So Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, it's going to be Clemson. I 100% agree with that. I don't have a score, but I'm going to go with Clemson nonetheless. I'll probably say maybe 41-21. Maybe that's the best I can do. So next up, couple games left on this football feast, and we have an 8:00 kickoff on Fox, and it is the other team on the Mendoza line. Michigan's number 5. Guess who's number 6? How's this for irony? The Notre Dame Fighting Irish are number 6. Michigan, Notre Dame, right on the Mendoza line. Who would have thunk it? But the number 6 Notre Dame Fighting Irish on the road against the Stanford Cardinals, Stanford Stadium, Palo Alto, California. This one will be over on Fox. And so nice we get to see them twice. Joe Davis and Brock Heward will have this game as well. And Notre Dame opening up as a 19-point favorite. So, where was this Notre Dame team in September? The Irish have covered in each of their last 6 wins, and Stanford has lost 6 in a row and failed to cover in each of those losses. Follow those trends even on the road, and Notre Dame, ever since Notre Dame lost to Cincinnati, I mean, they have they had a couple of close calls, but the last few weeks they have really, really impressed. I mean, the Virginia game, but the Georgia Tech game, oh my goodness, they did. I mean, where was that against Toledo? That's all I'm gonna say. But anyways, I got Notre Dame winning this one. Of course, I think Notre Dame will stamp it, finish the year 11-1, and then we'll see. We'll see. And then obviously our fate will be in the committee's hands. So we're gonna need a smidgen of help. Ohio State and Michigan will obviously cancel each other out. So I think
actually also you got to think about it this way too. If Alabama loses, that might be enough to get Notre Dame in. If you think about it,
how awesome would that be?
Because you got to think about it this way, and I'll take it for a gander here, Anthony, because obviously I got Notre Dame winning, but the way I think about it, it goes like this. If Georgia wins, obviously they clinch, they're in, they're number 1. The winner of Ohio State, Michigan, I think it's going to get the second spot. So they're going to go through. With Alabama losing, they're out. There's no way they're going to get 3 or 4 because there's no possible mathematical way or anything to do it because they will already have 2 losses. It would be an absolute travesty if Alabama gets in with 2 losses. It would. There's no way. So now the question becomes at that point, who gets the final 2? Notre Dame is 1. If you got 1 loss under your belt and the only loss is to Cincinnati, I mean, how do you not put Notre Dame in? I don't see any other team remotely close that can get in. Not Big 12 winner? No. You can't say it's going to be the Big 12 winner, especially now. Oregon was the only team that had a legitimate shot, and they got killed by Utah. That ended any hope of a Big 12 team to get through. On top of that, if Cincinnati finishes undefeated with the way that they've been playing, I think the Final 4 we go is Georgia, maybe Ohio State, because I think a lot of people are going to think that Ohio State beats Michigan. All right, fine. Cincinnati, Notre Dame gets number 4, and they're in.
That would be hella awesome, man. That would be awesome.
Obviously, for us, personally, we would love to see Michigan and Notre Dame get through.
Absolutely.
The only way that happens is literally this, and this is the biggest scenario. Georgia has to beat Alabama in the SEC championship game. You do that, Georgia's through. They're home free. There's no way stopping them.
All right.
Michigan would have to win over Ohio State, and then they would have to beat Wisconsin again because I think they played Wisconsin earlier in the year, and they beat Wisconsin. Michigan won.
I mean, Madison for the first time in 20 years, yeah.
We would have to do it again. We would have to beat them again. SEC, Big Ten championship game. They get that. They're home free. Michigan's through.
Absolutely.
Notre Dame, the only way they get knocked out is if they lose to Stanford. That's the only way. If they win, they're home. They're home free. I don't think there's nothing that would stop them. And if Cincinnati runs the table, that's your 4. We're locked.
Yeah.
And then I think the thing I think it will go down is I think it will go Georgia versus maybe Notre Dame. Cincinnati plays Michigan, and then we let the chips fall to where it may. But if the committee really wants to do something crazy, what if Notre Dame and Michigan are 2-3? Michigan, Notre Dame, national semifinal?
Oh. In either Jerry World or, God forbid, Hard Rock Stadium. Oh. Because it's the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl are the semifinals on New Year's, and on New Year's Eve, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Notre Dame
before the ball drops,
Michigan?
we'll literally see a ball drop. Yeah, we're gonna see a ball drop. Literally.
I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing some footballs dropped.
Oh man.
There's gonna be some shaking. Trust me. I mean, Before all of you out there pop the little bit of bubbly and then some on New Year's Eve with your Chinese food meals and everything else.
And kissing the one that you love.
Yes.
Don't forget that. Don't forget that.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know.
The semifinals will be on New Year's Eve. One will be at Jerry's World, the Cotton Bowl Classic, and the other will be at Hard Rock Stadium for my favorite bowl game, the Orange Bowl. Yeah. How awesome would it be if it were to be Notre Dame and Michigan in my favorite bowl game, the Orange Bowl?
In my house at the Hard Rock.
That would be a great way to stick it to you. That would be something.
Yeah, but
let's not
remember
get
the
ahead of
last time.
ourselves.
But wait a minute. The last time Michigan played in the Orange Bowl was against Alabama. Michigan won. We
This
won.
is true. This is
We
true.
won it. We actually
This is
had our
true.
hands on that beautiful trophy with the oranges. So don't worry.
Yeah, you feasted.
We'll get
You
it
feasted.
again. We can get it again. If only if they throw us there. And they decide to throw us in Jerry World, imagine that. Oh my God.
Ooh, 100,000 plus. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Give us an early sample of what WrestleMania 38 is going to be like.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Oh my word.
But yeah.
A lot of exciting.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, easy there, Romeo.
I know. Wishful thinking right now, but Notre Dame should win. If they do win, I think that will be enough to get them in. I think right now, because like you said, there's 2 games right now that are literally elimination games. With Ohio State and Michigan, that's an elimination game. And possibly with Georgia and Alabama at the SEC championship game, that's an elimination game. For Alabama, it's an elimination game. If Alabama wins, though, now we got problems. Now...
What about Georgia?
No, Georgia will go through because that would be their first loss. They will go through. They're in no matter what. But if Bama wins...
That could hurt Notre Dame.
That would be... Yeah, no, that would be bad because that would be horrible news because either Notre Dame gets left out or Cincinnati gets left out because one of them two is going to get sacrificed because of this.
This is very true, but you got Notre Dame winning. I got Notre Dame winning.
Yep.
My final score, I forgot to mention, 35-16. I got Notre Dame knocking off Stanford. So one last game on this football feast. We have the number 13 BYU Cougars on the road against the USC Trojans at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, or as they call it, United Airlines Field at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Pac-12 after dark. And on the call for that one on ESPN, it will be Dave Fleming, Rod Gilmore, and Stormy Bonantoni. And BYU opening up as a touchdown favorite, a 7-point spread for BYU. And BYU is looking to cap a 10-win season, and USC has reached a low point after losing by double digits in 4 of the last 5 weeks. The Trojans could put up a fight, but the Cougars will stay engaged in the second half. Get this before the line bumps up over a touchdown. 38-24, BYU over USC. I'm not taking home.
BYU, that's it. I think BYU will beat USC. Florio, let's end it.
And that will put the bow on this 10th annual Strictly Sports Football Feast. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as you've done all these years since we started this thing. One of our favorite shows of the year, and this one lived up to the hype and then some. So glad you were able to join us for this. So we'll be back with you again tomorrow night, this time over on MF's channel, Braves Fan 95, 10:30 for Wednesday Night Mayhem, NXT 2.0, and the Thanksgiving edition of AEW Dynamite. No show on Thursday for because of Thanksgiving. And then we'll be back on Friday for the Cerebral Smack Talk. MF will have that. Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage. Saturday, we'll cover the remaining games of Week 12 in the NFL. All those games I mentioned earlier. And then, we'll start it up again on Monday for Ridiculously Raw. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for Wednesday Night Mayhem over on MF's channel, Braves Fan 95. This is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, Michael Bullock, Dede Woodson, and always and forever, the Yankee Messiah 401, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Wednesday. And until tomorrow night, for Wednesday Night Mayhem, you've been watching the 10th annual Strictly Sports Football Feast right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.